Hey, welcome back to Star Technology, where in the last video we got all of these multi-blocks going, which took a lot of work. I've been touching them up a little bit between videos, because some of them had a few problems with them. Most notably, a lot of them didn't have the right circuits, so they were just not making the right things, or not making anything at all. I've had to get some quadruple output hatches for some of the fluids, because having a single one didn't work for most recipes. And I've had to get multiple input buses for the extruder, because there's just a couple recipes that I want. And I know that I need to do distinct buses. On top of that, power problems, as they always are. I wasn't generating enough fuel to be able to keep up, or like I was running out of my heavy fuel supplies. So I've overclocked the distillation tower, and then that was consuming too much oil, so I upgraded to a tier 2 drilling rig. And as you can see, it was just a ton of titanium. Nothing too special here. But that should keep me going for a while. Anyway, at the end of last video, or really for most of last video, I was convinced that I was going to get a large chemical reactor and a flux network. But I couldn't get it done in time. So that's the point of this video. I'm going to make a large chemical reactor. And I've been looking through some of the stuff, and if I want to get the flux network as well, there's going to be quite a lot of stuff to do. So flux networks themselves seem a little complicated, so I'm going to have to spend a little while actually figuring this out. And then there's all the difficulties of even getting the materials for the flux network. But we'll cross those bridges when we get to them. The first thing on the docket is getting the chemical reactor. I seem to remember... no, I must have spent those HV circuits. I can get the HV circuits now. Yeah, I have some of the things I need for this. But the main thing is this polytetrafluoroethylene. And this is going to be a complicated process. And I'm not entirely sure how useful this is, though I might want to automate it and request it. Either way, it'll likely be easier to just use the ME system, just because fluids are a pain to deal with. Yeah, so let's see. To get the polytetrafluoroethylene, I need oxygen and tetrafluoroethylene. Tetrafluoroethylene has alternate recipes in the large chemical reactor, but the main one, hydrofluoric acid and chloroform. I'll check hydrofluoric acid first, that shouldn't be too hard. I just need hydrogen and fluorine. So then how do I get fluorine? That is the wrong fluorine. Looks like my best bet is probably topaz. That gives a bunch of other handy stuff too. I forget if I determined if I even have bastanite, but that could also work. And I don't think blue topaz is available to me, so that's it. I think, yeah, I already have a bunch of topaz from my escapades getting aluminium. I'll just centrifuge them all. Oh, it's so good having this quick of a centrifuge for all of this random stuff that I'm doing. Oh, I get blue topaz as a byproduct. Okay. I now need to electrolyze all of this, and that's got me a bunch of fluorine. So then I'm just going to adjust this recipe so it actually uses the right fluorine. Are the others fine? No. Get the right hydrofluoric acid in there. And I have the right tetrafluoroethylene in there. So now for chloroform. Chlorine, I should already have plenty of that. And then methane gas. I can get a lot of it from refinery gas. I have a ton of sulfuric gas right now. So if I get some distillation set up, I could do that. Oh, carbon and hydrogen. That's probably easier. Yeah, I'll go with that. So let me see. I should be able to just get... I'm going to need plenty of this. I'll get 10 buckets. Doesn't seem to be any conflictions. I already have 12 methane gas? From where? I don't know. I'll get the 10 buckets. And if this all goes through, I'm fine. None of them needed circuit 2 or anything, so they should all just work in the chemical reactor. So then I'm going to need some way to turn these into ingots. And I may as well set up this other fluid solidifier. So then once this finishes crafting, which it looks like it might, I should be able to get what I need. Now the last thing is I need a large pipe mold, which is a bit of a complicated process. Well, it's not so much complicated as just a long recipe chain. There we go, large pipe. And I can just have another input here that does large pipes. I think eventually I'm just going to cover like this entire wall with different inputs. But the polytetrafluoroethylene is coming through now. It's still going to be crafting for a little bit. And I think I needed 12 ingots to get all the pipes I need. And I have enough for that right now. So there we go. I'll just get those 2 large pipes. And I can make the large chemical reactor block. Okay, now for the multi-block. And all of the inputs and outputs shouldn't be too hard. Although I don't have another output bus. They're really not hard to make. I've got a spare maintenance hatch. And then for the output hatches, the input and output hatches, I'm going to need quadruples. So I first just need to make the normal inputs and outputs, and then 2 of these quadruple titanium fluid pipes, which are really not that expensive. I just need 8 small fluid pipes, and then there we go. That's all the quadruples. Then I've probably got a spare coil block. I'm assuming I can do any coil, and not just cupronickel. I'll take a spare canthal, what's it matter? And I'll take a spare cupronickel with me in case the canthal doesn't work. Right, I need the 2 energy hatches as well. And that should be it for all of the hatches. Now I just need the PTFE pipe casing and the chemically inert PTFE machine casings. So let's see, what's that going to take? A ton of polytetrafluoroethylene, so I'm going to need a bunch of these ingots. I need a plate mold for the extruder to get the sheets. I guess I could fluid solidify it. I was hoping I could just put it in the bender, because you can just stick it in the lathe to get the rods. Right, so I'm going to need 12 ingots for all the pipes, 2 ingots for the frames if I just put them in the assembler, and then 4 ingots for the sheets. So I'll order up the sheets, and then do I need... No, I don't need the frames for the machine casings. So then yeah, just 2. So that's 14 ingots. Oh wait, I need normal pipes. I only have a small pipe mold. I need another input bus. And another mold. There, normal pipe. I turn 12 ingots worth into normal pipes, and the rest go in the lathe. And which of my assemblers did I have on 4? This one. That takes the rods, and then I can make the pipe casings. And then the machine casings should be pretty simple, because I already have a ton of these spare solid machine casings from taking down the oil rig, and I should have enough spare polytetrafluoroethylene. If not, crafting more is nothing. So then I need probably 17 if I've got 2 energy hatches. So I'm just going to put that in the normal assembler, and then briefly just hijack this to be on circuit 6, and then queue up all 17 of these. And they are coming through fast. So that should be everything that I need, along with some enderium wire so I can actually get power into it. I think I'm good to go. And I'm going to put it right here next to the vacuum freezer. And it's a pretty simple multi-block. Yeah, the pipe casing goes in the middle. And I'm guessing power can go anywhere. So power's around the back, as per usual. Inputs around the front. Controller in the center. Pipe casing in the middle. Coil at the back. I'm doing outputs above the inputs, because that's what I did for the vacuum freezer. Maintenance hatch above the control block. And then the rest of the 3x3 is all machine casings. And it's not working. Is it the coil? It was the coil. So now I'll just connect this into power, and it should be all good to go. Ah, right, maintenance hatch. Fixed. Okay, so now I can use this to get the flux dust. And this is the other problem that I was thinking about, because I need 64 buckets of lava to get the flux dust. I kind of wish it was just 1-to-1, that'd be a bit easier, but doing it a stack at a time, it's workable. But there isn't really an easy way to get lava at scale. Essence burning is a bit slow. I don't really want to have multiple essence burners going, because that'd be expensive. Not to mention getting the essence in the first place, which I haven't even touched yet. Large stone barrel, that'd just be slow as well. Mixing might be quick, but I don't want to bother getting a blaze burner and a blaze cake. And the only other method is the crucible, which is cheap, but it's kind of slow. Now what works for the crucible? Because the better the heat source, the quicker it'll generate. It's looking like soul fire or a campfire. I'm surprised that a campfire is better than lava, but okay, campfire it is. And then the next problem, if I'm going to be chaining a ton of crucibles, is where do I get all the cobblestone? Because I can't realistically just steal from here. This is already being pushed about as much as it can be for the sake of the sieving. And I could take out of the sieve setup to get more cobblestone available, but I might just make another cobble gen. Because there's a few other methods I could use. I think a rock breaker could be one of my best bets here. That's what I use for the blackstone, and it's pretty quick. I think this would be good enough for the crucibles at least. And I'll go with HV because that's probably just the easiest. And none of that is very hard. There we go, advanced rock crusher. So with the rock crusher now, I'm going to need a bunch of crucibles. And they are very cheap. I'm not entirely sure how many crucibles I want. How many can I get with a stack of clay? 9. I think 12 could be pretty clean. So that's a little bit more clay balls. Yeah. Don't have enough bone meal though. I've got a bunch of spare seeds that I can get rid of. So I'm just going to make all of this porcelain clay, turn it all into crucibles, and then fire them. Okay, 12 crucibles. Now I need 12 campfires. I'm going to need a bunch of item pipes now too. But with the new extruder, it's fully automatic. I'm also just going to need to get a bunch of these pipe upgrades. They're going to take a while, so I may as well set up this crucible. And where do I do it? I don't know if I have a great area for it. I could just put it here. It doesn't fit. I would put it on this platform if I had any space left at all. Maybe I make another new platform. I'm probably going to need more space around here anyway, so there we go. New platform. And I'm going to put the cobble gen right here. So I need the rock crusher there. And I need water and lava around it. Then I'll line up the campfires with crucibles on top. And item pipes going through the middle. And with fluid pipes coming out the top of them, they can lead into a fluid tank. And I don't have the import bus and things. But I can import out of that. Need my import bus, level emitter, P2P stuff. And then I just need to connect all of this up. And yeah, I'm generating lava. Not terribly quickly right now because I'm not extracting that much. Actually, all of these are full of cobblestone. I don't know if I even need upgrades. Well, I'm going to need to start importing some of that lava. And then I'll just tell the level emitter I want. I'll go 100 buckets worth of lava. And that should just be working now. I should be getting lava. Not as quick as I'd like. There's probably a quicker method out there. But this method works for my purposes. And I can still probably expand it a bit more. I can see this snaking all the way around this entire platform if I wanted it to. But this will be fine. I guess I'll cancel these cards for now. So now I can finally start making flux dust. So I'm gonna need a bunch of redstone. And so far I've only got 13 buckets of lava, so it's gonna take me a little while to get more of that. I guess while I wait, I can try setting up this chemical reactor to replace the ones that I've got over here. How many do I have parallel right now? I think just the 2. So I need some more inputs. Wait a minute, do I? I definitely need another input bus, but the input buses are the only ones with a programmed circuit. I don't have that on the fluid input. Hang on, if I check some of these recipes that I have on 2, do any of them need exclusively liquids? Methanol is just fluids. I mean, most of this I use relatively infrequently. Sulfur dioxide I actually use a lot. But I could probably just shift that into the HV chemical reactor, and then all of these recipes go in the large reactor, and it'd still be a lot quicker. I think that's what I'll do. And if there's a way that I can get both circuits on the one machine, then I'll do that. I just don't know the method right now. So I've just set this up in exactly the same way as the vacuum freezer. I just need to move these recipes across. And there's a lot of recipes here. And in theory, this is all working now. So then I could probably also make a recipe for flux dust and stick that in and see how that goes. I'm still missing a lot of lava though. That really is the main problem that I was thinking of. Now that I'm looking at it, essence burning was probably quicker. Because even on HV, this would come out to 1 bucket a second. But essences are Just a bit of a pain right now. Crucibles are fine by me. You know, I think I'm gonna make even more crucibles, because as I said, I can just keep snaking it. It's really easy to just add on to the end here. And still, no pipe upgrades. And it's handling fine. Right, I finally have enough lava now, so I can test. Does the chemical reactor work? Oh, well, it's gotta take all the items first. Maybe I should get a pipe upgrade. Ah, there's a problem. Can I manually fill the next slot? Yes. The ME system won't, though. Okay, does it work? Yes, it just takes 30 seconds. Hang on, the GI says 60. Yeah, it's on IV overclock. I don't know. It works, at least. Now it's slowly got to import all of that. I'll just grab it myself. But there. Flux dust. Finally. Now I can finally get into figuring out how to do a flux network. So it looks like a lot of things... Oh wait, no, that's obsidian, not a flux block. A lot of things still take the flux core, so... That's the main thing. And I need Eyes of Ender. I don't think I'll need too much. I've got no idea how this system works, so... I can understand the plugs and points acting as importers and exporters, so I'm going to need a lot of them. And they're going to be about 1 Eye of Ender each. So I'm going to need to find an easy way to get Eyes of Ender. Because Liquid Blaze is just a little bit annoying. Oh. Carbon and sulfur. That's really easy. Okay, maybe it's not so hard. Let's get some of that now. And yeah, I've got tons of ender pearls, so I should be able to pretty easily make Eyes of Ender. Let me just see. Yeah, looks to be working. Right, now to just get all of this stuff for the Flux network. And I'll automate all the stuff for like, well, the Flux plugs and the Flux points. Those are going to be pretty integral. But the rest of it, I don't really need that automated. So I'm likely going to need this Flux configurator. Probably a Flux controller as well, and then just a bunch of plugs and points. How many inputs do I have? I've got the 2 on the generator coils, and I've got the 1 at the oil. I think that's all of my energy input. So then that's 3 plugs. I need more flux dust. So I'm waiting on lava. And then how many outputs do I have? 20. So let me just see. To get 20 flux points, I need a lot more flux dust. I'm going to be waiting on lava for quite a while, and I very well could just make myself like 3 times as many crucibles so that it comes quicker, but this isn't the right solution at that point. I think essence burning is the way to go, but I don't really have time to be getting into a lot of this stuff. And it's a pretty scary tree, just seeing all of the random offshoots that come off of here. Oh yeah, look at that. This is going to be its own episode at some point, whenever I'm feeling confident enough to tackle this. I can make one more load, so I can start trying to figure out how these flux networks work. Alright, let's see, I can get the 3 flux plugs, and then how many flux points can I afford? Not even 5. I can get 3. I should be able to get more, I've got plenty of flux dust. Oh yeah, that's just using more blaze powder. Okay, yeah, I can get another 6. So I can get some of this on a flux network. So I think to keep some of the really integral stuff going, I guess that's what the backup power's for. I was going to keep some of this online with the P2P stuff, but the whole reason I haven't gotten rid of these connectors yet is because they're just nice to have as backup power. In the event that something goes really wrong, I at least still have the ME system. And the blast furnaces for some reason. So I'll get the flux plugs on the carbon brushes. I'm assuming they just work. Does the flux controller need to go anywhere? Could just stick that there. I need to create a network. I don't think I need to worry about encryption or passwords on a single player world. Yeah, just create. So this controller is set to main power. Aha, the plugs need to be set to main power too. Ah. What's the point of having a transfer limit if I can just customize it? I don't know. It seems like flux networks don't have a power buffer. They don't store anything, they just transfer it. So maybe I could still hijack the flux cell for that purpose, but I'm kind of interested to see if I don't need to. Let's see, if I put a flux point there, I disconnect this from P2P power, I'm gonna need to start spending power. I'll disconnect it for now, and then if I ask for 16 Eyes of Ender, that'll start crafting here, and yeah, it's pretty quickly run out of power. But if I connect the flux point, it has power now. Okay, and that's only taking power from the generator coils. I guess all of these have their own energy buffers anyway. I think this will work. So I can connect the dynamo into the flux network, and presumably that works the same way. So then I guess now I can go through and just connect all of these to the flux network instead of doing P2P stuff. I'm not sure what the flux configurator is used for, if I can just right click on them and set it up in here. Right, well now I've run out of flux points, and there's still a handful of other things to connect. Then again, oh no, that's why things are still getting power from the P2P, because I've still got the residual energy in the flux cell. Come to think of it, that probably should have been the first thing I did, connect the flux cell, so that anything that's still accidentally on P2P can run. I've got time. This drains really slowly right now. And I have enough lava for the next load of flux dust, so now I should be able to make a whole bunch more flux points. I'll make another 10, just to save a little bit of flux dust. And this is going to be enough for all of the weird niche things that still need power. Here I can save a flux point by having it connect to 2 things at once. Couldn't do that with P2P. Maybe you could. I didn't really look very hard. It still says there's 6 outputs. What's drawing power right now? Oh, there's stuff over here that I forgot about. Not sure what that energy converter's doing there anymore. Have it all on the one now. I still need power going in there, because that's how I power all the sieves. There's still 3 other things. Aha. And there's one more. Oh, I didn't change this one. There we go. Now it's not connected to anything at all. So I have fully switched over to the flux network. And I think I might get myself one more flux plug to put into the flux cell, just so I've got a little bit more power buffer. Oh, wait a minute. This plug has a buffer on its own. Does it? Maybe not. I'd expect it to be filling a bit more. Unless that's just a measure of how much of the... No, it's got a buffer. I don't know. Either way, it's like 1,000th of what I get in the redstone flux cell. So, that is that. I have fully switched over to a flux network instead of P2P. There's probably more in the Flux Networks mod that I just haven't checked out. There's Flux Storage. That's probably a better buffer. I'm still not entirely sure what the Flux Controller does, other than I guess just allow this to work. I don't know. I don't really need to know how it works if I can use it effectively enough. But now in terms of power problems, I just need to worry about producing it, less about transferring it. So, that is that. That was the plan for the video. Get the large chemical reactor, and a flux network. I think I have done that. I was expecting it to take a bit longer. I spent more time than I thought I would just waiting on lava. But even if it was shorter than I thought, I definitely was not squeezing this in at the end of last video. I am very glad I didn't try. And also, it seems like the chemical reactor works a bit differently than these multi-blocks, because these ones are like the multi-smelter and they do a lot of things in parallel, which makes them go really, really fast. The chemical reactor, either I was doing a recipe that just takes a really long time anyway, or it doesn't do it in parallel the same way. It's basically just an overclockable reactor with its own recipes. I'm not sure, but it feels different. I mean, I know it's from literally a different iteration of GregTech, because I've had the existence of these machines explained to me. So I don't really know the significance of that difference, but it's different. Either way, very, very good upgrade. Anyway, I'm just rambling on at this point. I'm done with the video. If I haven't made that point very abundantly clear. And I'm struggling to find an ending again, so bye.